Welcome to WagerTalk TV, everyone. Minty Bets as your host. That's me. I'm here with Marco D'Angelo at Marco in Vegas on Twitter and Brian Leonard at B Leonard Sports on Twitter. Give them both a follow, guys. Coming up probably January. Crap, I don't even know the date. Sorry. The CFP National Championship is right around the corner. We've got Ohio State taking on Alabama. Alabama being a 7.5 point favorite. Total is at 75.5. This one is really, really difficult for me. I'm leaning the over here because both the offenses are super dominant, but I really don't know really who to pick here. Marco, please help me.
All right, Minty. And you know what? This one, I think me and Brian might disagree in this one. We've been aligned a little bit here with some of the videos we've done today. But, I look at this game and I look at last week's game, and I'm the first one to tell you anytime you watch a game, nobody's ever as good as their best game, or are they as bad as their worst game. But I'm going to tell you, Ohio State had the best game I have seen a team play in a long time. And it was quite enjoyable for me, considering I had a 5% play on Ohio State. So I enjoyed it a lot. But most of the reasons why I had Ohio State in that game are going to be the same reasons why I'm going to go against them in this one. And they had that game circled on their calendar. That's all they did. When you watched the broadcast of that game, how many times did they show that locker room where they had the score from last year up on the wall? I mean, this is a team that is all they thought about, was getting back to the playoffs and getting another chance at Clemson. And if that wasn't enough, that was before the season ever started. Then we have our man Dabo Sweeney puts out his coaches poll, and he votes Ohio State 11th on his coaches poll. Now, you already had a team that's got bulletin board material. They got the score from last year that they're looking at every day when they come in for practice. And then now you say they don't even belong in the top four, not the top six, not the top eight or top 10. He puts them 11 outside the top 10. I'm sorry. That game was just, the perfect game for Ohio State. Everything went right. They played well. Uh, Justin Fields was absolutely amazing. What a gutty performance. I thought that when he got hit, he was done. I didn't think he was coming back into the game. And when he did come back in and throw the touchdown pass, and the way he flinched after he threw it, I said, there's no way he's going to be able to continue in this game. But he did. You got to feel that that's got to affect him somewhat this week. I'm sure, at halftime, they did whatever they needed to do to get him out there for the second half. But all week, practicing with sore ribs and everything else, it's got to take its toll. Alabama is a monster. This offense might be the best offense I have seen in college football in, maybe my history. I mean, I'll go back and try to find it. And to think it's, Saban's offense. I mean, 5 years ago, you would have never saw this out of Alabama, but, give him credit that he went with the times. You have to change and, conform to what everybody else is doing. And that's what Alabama has done. I don't know how Ohio State makes enough stops against this offense. There's just too many weapons. Mac Jones is an incredible quarterback, and makes you forget Jalen Hurts and Tua real quick, that those were the two preceding quarterbacks with the season he's had this year. He's got a running game. He's got a passing game. You could have made a case for all three of their main guys to be Heisman Trophy candidates. When have you ever seen an offense that had three players like that? I don't know how Ohio State stops them. I like Alabama. I missed the 7. I'm hoping it gets back to 7. If it doesn't, I know, and Brian's going to jump all over me when I say this, you're not supposed to tease in college football, but in this particular game, in this setting, in where the number's at, for me to get Alabama in a situation where I just have to win the game, I will do that quite a bit, which then will give me a lot of opportunities if I want to do some stuff the other way with Ohio State if the line climbs up, or even in-game, Minty. If Alabama jumps out to a quick lead, you'll see some adjustments in the in-game. So I'll have a lot of options. But for me, it's Alabama. I can definitely tell you I will not be playing Ohio State, but I will have Alabama either minus the 7.5, or in teasers. But I do like Alabama here. And I agree with you. It's going to be a lot of points in this game.
Yeah, I actually already like Alabama as well. And just real quick before we get to you, Brian, I've actually been asked this a bunch, and maybe Marco can clarify. Why aren't you supposed to tease in college football? Because I see people doing it, and I see people swearing not to do it. Can you answer that?
For me, it's because of the variance of scoring, particularly in a game like this. You're looking at a total that's 75. Okay. So points, when the higher the total in a game, the least amount of value you have with the points. Now, with that said, the premium way that we like to tease, and, Brian will tell you in the NFL, we love taking those 2.5 point underdogs and teasing them through the key numbers of 3, 4, 6, and 7. When you have a total of 75, you've got the makings for a high scoring game, obviously, which means you can have game where teams are winning by 2 scores easily. So those points don't become as valuable. But if you are teasing the favorite down to win, there is more value, in my opinion, that direction than teasing a dog up. Now, I'm sure Brian will have something to say on it, but that's why you don't tease in college football.
All righty, Brian,
Yeah,
thoughts on teasing and thoughts on this game?
yeah, that's exactly right. In the NFL, your average point spread, the final score is 10 points off what the line was. In totals in the NFL, college football, basketball, you find a lot more variance. That's why you want to do it in football. You prefer to do it in low total games. You prefer to do it with games with teams that don't turn the ball over. That's where you make your money in the NFL, is going through those key numbers 3 through 7. Getting back to this number, yeah, Marco's right. This is a buy low, sell high situation. Ohio State just played their best game of the season. I've watched every Ohio State game. My wife is a huge Ohio State fan. Last week, if you look at the game grades by Phil Steele, and he does a great job on these, the Ohio State game grade was 144.7. The previous high was the game where they crushed Michigan State. That was only 129.9. So that was 15 points better than what they did against Michigan State. So you could tell that was just a terrific game from Ohio State last week. This is a team in Ohio State that's tremendous on the ground. They got a 2.8 yards per carry advantage. They run for 6 yards a carry, allow 3.2. That's a team that you normally want to back. Offensively, Ohio State was either first or second in yards against every opponent they played this season. So no matter what defense Ohio State faced, they moved the ball very easily. The problem you have with Alabama is this defense just hasn't been the same this year. The offense has been terrific, which puts the defense on the field really quick, and that could be a reason. But, you have a look at Alabama's running game, 1.9 yards per carry advantage, 5.1 for them, 3.2 for the opponents. The Buckeyes really only played against one good quarterback all season when you go over their schedule, and that was last week against Clemson, in a game where they allowed 400 passing yards. Now, granted, Ohio State had a nice lead in that game, so Clemson had to pass the ball more than they wanted to. But you're going up against one of the guys that's up for the Heisman right here in Alabama. You're going up against one of the guys that is the wide receiver, probably the favorite to win the Heisman in this contest. And you've got a great running back for Alabama. So I'm like Mark. I don't think Ohio State is able to stop this Alabama offense, especially if Alabama's going to pass the football. And that's been the Ohio State weakness on the season. So I'm in agreement with that. The Tide defensively held just 2 teams to season lows in yardage, which is really strange because this is a team that normally just shuts down the opposition. Those 2 teams that they shut down were Mississippi State and Arkansas, 2 teams that really don't pass the ball very well. So I think Ohio State will be able to move the ball on Alabama a little bit here. They have shown that they're not very competent against good passing offenses. We saw it against Florida in the SEC championship game. So to me, I hate to play an over 75.5. I just don't see how you play this a game under. Both teams have the ability to pass. It's going to be a situation to me that anytime somebody gets the ball, if you take a field goal, you opt for the field goal, you're going to put yourself behind. So I agree with Minty here. I'd like the over.
Oh, Yeah, I love Alabama over. Thanks, guys. All right, every Tuesday at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com is $2 Tuesday. Every Tuesday, get the hottest handicappers' best bet for just $2 at both WagerTalk.com and our sister site, SportsMemo.com.